Good evening from Area 51 Raceway. I'm going to do the pressing of the pinion gear onto my Predator motor here, and basically just talk about gears and pinions for the Beach Racer series. What works best at Home Racing World Track is a 927. So you're talking about a 9 being the 9 pinion gear, and a 27 crown gear, 27 tooth crown gear. So 9 tooth pinion, 27 crown gear. You could use something else if you want. I mean, if you want to use 30, 29, whatever. But what's really has worked best on that track, on that oval, is the 927 setup. But again, if you want to try something different, it's allowed. But that's the common one. So what you normally would do is, get your motor, and this is a slot invasion gear press. Let me tilt this up so you can see. Now I'm using my vise, believe it or not, to hold my camera in place. So I hope I'm in view when you see this. So here's the slot invasion gear press. And it's not very difficult to use, very simple tool. We move the car out of the way. All you do is, I usually do this my way. I usually leave it down and I get my pinion gear. And I get my pinion gear and place it on my shaft. Or what I would do actually is put it right here on the, kind of line it up in the hole there. I'll wind this out so I can fit the motor in between. And it's just you're pressing it in. Of course, when you press a gear in, you want to make sure that, let me do this will be a little tricky. So I got it like so. I hope you could see that. And I'll kind of tighten this up. Got to line it up. Important to line it up. And I'm looking right here. Hold on. I'm just making sure that I'm on the hole there, so that how would you say the shaft of the motor shaft will go through there. And then this is usually Loctite, but the Loctite kind of came loose, so I'm not faulting the press, but what I do is get the end of the which is an Allen head, and I forget what size this is. I'm trying to look. I don't think it's marked. That's a metric one. I don't remember, whatever the size it is of this one here. And I'll do is I'll wind this down and press the motor in, press the pinion gear in. And you're going to just turn it in, and you want to make sure it's going in straight. If you hit resistance where you can't turn this, you do not want to go any further. That means that shaft, it's not going in the hole. It's probably hitting off to the side of the part here, but you would probably notice it also if you were going crooked. As you can see there, it looks pretty straight. And you just wind it in, and you can see it pressing in there. Wind it in, and I'll just kind of go in about right there. That may be a little further, but that's no big deal. You could just kind of pull it out. That probably is in too far, but what we'll do is we'll get our pinion gear, our crown gear. Now we got that pressed, and I will take the axle off. Actually, I should have took, that's okay, I'll do it this way. So I'll go around here, I'll get my axle, put it in, and just make sure we line the holes up here. And that is not, how would you say, not pulled out. Make sure that's pulled out a little. That was my fault, and didn't have the set screw out more. And you're just gonna kind of like get your motor, as kind of put it in there and see where it would, how far it is from your pinion gear. And what we have here is, as you could see, and I did press that in too far, but I did that on purpose so I could show you that you can't pull it out. So you could see how that looks like. And you want to get it, you want this to be in the middle of the pinion gear as much as possible that you can, because you may, that shaft may not have enough room. I don't know yet. We'll find out. So I will take this out. And then what's nice about this tool is that it has a puller. And you put it in the puller here, and get it in there more. And you see it right there, and then you just simply twist. Go right about there. And pull it out. Get your motor again. Put it in here to kind of get an idea. And we're right about, not too shabby. I think we'll pull it out a little just to get it a little bit more centered. I mean, right there will probably work, but I'll just go a tiny bit because that's just me. As long as you're getting good contact on your crown gear with your pinion gear, that's important. And then I will just pull this out a tiny bit more. Everybody's different on how they set up their car. I'm just kind of telling you the basics. So, I mean, other people may do it a little differently with where they want it at. I'll just a little bit squeeze there, pull it out more, take it out. I'll put it back here, and I'll kind of see where it's at right there. See, no, not too bad. As you can see, that's pretty good. Oh, you see in the damn camera, but it's hard to see with this, and I apologize. This is not really great lighting. I don't have studio cameras, and so again, this is just fly-by-night, you know, instructional. And what I'll do is I'll get my motor and get my screws. What I'll do is kind of do this, kind of a bouncing act, unless you could get them in the holes first and then put the motor next to it, you know, close to it. You can do that. One thing about these little screws, they're really tight. They're, you know, easy to flop off. What you could do here is just do this, just like that. What you do is put it in the hole first, and you want to line it up, of course, and thread it in. Make sure it threads in easily. If it threads in hard, you got a problem. You're cross-threading. Don't continue threading it in if it's going in tough. These should go in very easily with minimal pressure. And then we'll get this. You get it in one shot. Maybe not. And then we'll right there. See, got it in. And a little snug right there is fine. Nothing super tight. A little snug. And then we'll get the crown gear back on, and there we go. And that's where we're at. That's a pretty good shot right there. That's fine. That looks good right there. And you pretty much have that part done, which is really not difficult. And you want to make sure your clearance is good there between the pinion gear and the, you know, the face of it. So, and of course, let me open this up a little bit. And you're just checking again, you know, where you're at with that. So, well, if you can see that, oh gosh. Let me take the camera off the vise, because it's really kind of hard to do this. I thought my darn tripod, I'm kind of missing it since it broke my little holder. Well, here's the end results of it. God, it's hard to center this stupid thing. Yep, here we go. I'm trying to do this with, it's a little bit tough. So, here you go, and that's where you see where it's at right there. Goodness gracious, I suck at this right now. And you just want to make sure it's right there is fine. You know, the shaft isn't super long, so, but it's got clearance. I got it right there. See, that's pretty good. And you'll set your lash when you get the car, you know, ready to put together. But that looks pretty good. That's how you want it. That's decent right there. That's how you get that in there and press the gear and press the pinion gear into the motor with that tool. And then from there on out, you could do your lash. If you want to run this car right now, you can. And you just all set with the motor part there. So that's just that piece right there. I just wanted to show. We'll do another video on putting the guide on. I'm really critical with getting the guide set up. Right now, I can't really concern with how the guide setup's going to be, because the wheels have to be, the tires have to be glued on, and then you have to true the tires, and then from there you're going to know where you'll have to adjust your guide height. And guide height is real critical. It's real important. It's one of the important steps, and we'll get into that later. But that's just on pressing the pinion gear onto the motor shaft, and just kind of getting your crown gear and kind of seeing what it looks like, where it should be at. If you're using like a 1/8 inch axle, it's a little bit different. It's not going to have this slotted this piece like the slot it does, which is a guide for the shaft. If it was longer, it would go right in between there, but not long enough to hit the inside part, but enough to be in between the gear and that hub piece there. So, but on a 1/8 one, it's a little different. It's just there's no hub piece like that. It would be just a crown gear itself. No, it's kind of nice about the slot. It doesn't, it has that. Kind of helps you out with alignment. So that's it from Area 51 Raceway. Just thought I'd share on doing the, pressing the pinion gear onto the motor shaft, and kind of, setting up your gear there and see how it looks. Again, you could use any gear, any gear ratio is what Harry is allowing, but really for a good gear setup for that track really is 927, but it's up to you what you want to do. Oh, that's it. Take care and have fun racing.